From cooling towers to boiler feed water, wastewater to drinking water, Pyxis Lab has technology to fit all of your water treatment applications. Our innovative solutions cater to industries ranging from fisheries to breweries and everything in between. With Pyxis Lab, you're not just getting products, you're gaining a partner committed to revolutionizing water treatment. Don't let outdated technology hold you back. Go to scalinguph2o.com/Pyxis. Once again, that's scalinguph2o.com/PYXIS. Pyxis, because water professionals deserve better. 3 industry titans, Masters Company, Radical Polymers, and MFG Chemical have joined forces to create your ultimate one-stop shop for your water treatment needs. We're talking over 60 years of Masters Company's expertise in private label products and cutting-edge test kits. Radical Polymers' game-changing Inisha additives, and MFG Chemical's custom manufacturing prowess. These American companies are bringing you top-notch quality and reliability all under one umbrella. From blending and ultra-concentrates to specialized polymers and custom solutions, they've got you covered. And with multiple AWT Supplier of the Year awards between them, you know you're getting the best of the best. Ready to revolutionize your water treatment game? Head over to scalinguph2o.com/MFG. Once again, that's scalinguph2o.com/MFG. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. I know you can't wait for the AWT convention taking place November 11th through 15th. While you're there, be sure to stop by and see the whole gang from Masters, Radical Polymers, and MFG Chemicals at booths 200 through 208. Happy Industrial Water Week, Scaling Up Nation. Trace Blackmore here on this Wastewater Thursday. And thank you for being with me each and every day this week as we have celebrated Industrial Water Week together. I believe this is our 8th year that we have celebrated together. We have been here since the beginning of Industrial Water Week. And of course, the Scaling Up H2O podcast is your destination to celebrate Industrial Water Week. Now, of course, we celebrated pre-treatment Monday together. Then we celebrated Boiler Tuesday. Yesterday, we celebrated Cooling Wednesday, and that means today is Wastewater Thursday. Now, this is all about our water's journey to the end, but not really. Because of us, it gets to restart. It gets to start all over again because in wastewater, we're cleaning it up so we can reuse it. It's all about sustainability in water management. And our theme this week is water's industrial journey from foundations to futures. And when we talk about water, specifically wastewater, we have used it for a purpose, and then we treat it so we can use it again. That is our water's journey. That is something that we do. That's something that we all do extremely well. But in addition to the foundations and futures, it's not just about water. It's also about us and how we have learned over our careers and how we are continuing to add to that foundation of knowledge that we have of industrial water treatment, and we are learning something new each and every day. Now, as industrial water treaters, it means that we are the ultimate responsibility when it comes to water. It means that we ensure that every drop counts, from influent to effluent, and that's what we do every time we help somebody with their wastewater facility. We're making sure that every drop counts, and we're putting all of those drops back into the system where they can continue to carry heat, because what is our job? We are heat transfer efficiency managers. Now, I remember when I was just getting started in wastewater, And wastewater is one of those things that it is more error than correct trial. And I remember I was with my dad, we did jar testing, and they were having a problem. And I was the lucky one that found the right combination of what we were putting into the gangsters. And yes, this was where I thought my dad was calling it a gangster. It is a gang stirrer. Insert your own joke there, but that's actually happened. I know Kevin Cope, huge fan of the podcast, and we are a fan of Kevin's. He cannot teach a wastewater class without bringing up that I used to think it was called a gangster. Well, we went through that entire process, and we had this customer throughout my entire time that I was in the Richmond, Virginia area working with my dad. And I remember we got a frantic phone call that the sampling that the inspector did said that we were way off the mark, and the customer was not happy at all. And at that time, I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I messed something up. I was just out there. What did I do? So I stopped what I was doing. My dad met me there. And as it turned out, the inspector actually sampled in the wrong place. So it was very clear that what he got was correct at that sample point. But then if you went to, after we did all of the things that we were hired to do, that sample was exactly where it needed to be. We proudly showed that to our customer. Now, instantly, when we arrived, that was one of the first things that we did. We grabbed a sample and we were like, okay, was there a stray source that came by? Was there a lapse in the equipment running time? What's going on here? All the logs said everything was working perfectly. Our sample that we took looked great. So then we said, how do we reproduce, if we can, what the inspector got on his survey, on his report? And we started sampling other areas and we were like, this is exactly what he did. So we told that to our customer. Our customer went back to the inspector, and it turns out it was the inspector's first day. He did not know what he was doing. He just went in and grabbed a sample, one of the first places that he could find. Folks, you talk about a proud moment. One that it was, I didn't do anything wrong, isn't that great? But then also we were able to prove that we were doing everything right, and we were also able to prove where the error came from. Nation, we do stuff like that each and every day. That's why I love industrial water treatment. That's why I'm in this industry. That's why you are in this industry. There's always something new to learn. There's always all these exciting stories. Now, we think that they're exciting, but go to a party where we are the only industrial water treater there, and you will very quickly find that not everybody finds our stories exciting. But that's okay. That's why you are a member of the Scaling Up Nation, and the Scaling Up Nation loves these stories, and that's why we are going to tell them. Well, Nation, not only do we love these stories, our guests love these stories, and we're going to hear from some of our past guests wishing us happy Wastewater Thursday.
So happy Wastewater Thursday, Scaling Up Nation. My name is Arnaud Valto. I'm the CEO of Veolia Water Technology, and my work with wastewater includes transforming it into a fantastic resource. The days of merely treating wastewater to meet discharge regulations are over. Wastewater has become a renewable source of local, decarbonized energy, and with a proper treatment, it can also be reused in numerous applications, all the way to serve sometimes as a resource of potable water. So something that I would like everyone to know about wastewater is that, once again, it's far from being a waste. It's part of the solution for solving most of the most pressing issues we face with climate change and water scarcity. So I see wastewater in the future looking like, as I said, a valued resources with treatment facilities that are energy positive, producing more energy than they consume. And we are already done some of that. And being the key to the water treatment cycle, going from a linear to a circular with the resources that we can find in abundance where it's needed.
Well, thank you, Anard. And he is the CEO of Veolia. So cool that he took some time to come talk with me and the Scaling Up Nation. And he was on episode 382, if you want to check that out again. That was entitled Leading with Safety, How Veolia Embeds Health into a Global Culture. Here's our next guest.
Happy Wastewater Thursday, Scaling Up Nation. My name is Steve Russell, and I'm with Kiewit. My work with wastewater includes primarily engineering, so specification, water mass balances, calculations, things like that. Occasionally, I'm out in the field, but usually not. My most interesting wastewater story is when I was a relatively younger engineer on my first field assignment, and I overheard the client talking about discharging wastewater. I think they had it stopped and they were starting it again. I don't remember all the details, but I remember I overheard them and I cut in and told them, hey, wait a second, have you guys looked at your permit? And so that kind of opened up a situation where we sat down with the permit and made sure they had everything set up right. So, it's kind of surprising that at times when you're not even expecting it, that your knowledge about how wastewater works, and in this case, what you need to do to discharge it correctly, can all of a sudden just show up out of nowhere. I see wastewater in the future looking like, I think wastewater may end up getting driven primarily by water supply. So as the water supplies get more scarce and more people draw upon them, climate change, increasing temperatures, changing weather patterns, I think there's going to be a focus in on reducing wastewater and recycling even more so than what we're seeing today.
Well, thank you, Steve. And Steve was on episode 395. That was entitled Learning How to Learn is Essential. Here's our next guest.
Happy Wastewater Thursday, Scaling Up Nation. My name is Mark Lewis, CWT with Southeastern Laboratories. My work normally doesn't include too much with wastewater, but I have had the opportunity to treat a few wastewater applications. Now, something that I want everyone to know about wastewater is that you get to see the results immediately. You don't have to wait 6 months. You don't have to wait 90 days on a corrosion coupon. If you treat it, you see it. If you treat it well, it does what it's supposed to. If you don't, you got a mess on your hand. And one of the interesting things that happened to me was I had a customer who had a small wastewater application, and he said, Mark, can you provide us a product? And he was name specific. He wanted a commodity product, and I could. So I did, and it worked for a little bit, and it stopped working. Then I had the opportunity to go in and run some jar tests, and I found out the product was the wrong product. I was able to supply him with an additional product that was in our product line, and I saw how using the right product in the right parameters was the best thing that ever happened. Now, I do feel my customer knows more about wastewater than I do at this point, but I'm really looking forward to learning more about all the ifs, ands, buts about wastewater and making it a bigger part of my career.
Well, of course, my friend Mark Lewis, I'm not going to mention all the episodes that he has been on the podcast. I met Mark so many years ago at my first AWT conference, and we have been the best of friends ever since. Mark's one of those guys that I can call up. I can say, hey, I've never seen this before. And he'll say, oh, I've messed up 20 of those things. This is how you fix that. That was just for you, Mark. Or he will say, I've never seen that either. Let's figure it out together. Or I know somebody that you can call. I sure hope that you have somebody like that not only you can figure out issues with, but you have a good personal friend like I do in Mark, where he just loves my industrial water treatment stories. And I love hearing about his. We are a special breed, us industrial water traders, and that's why we have our own nation. That's why we are the Scaling Up Nation. Now is my favorite part of the week. This is where we are going to get a brand new episode of Detective H2O. Here is the case of too much of a good thing.
Welcome to Detective H2O, the case of too much of a good thing. The pitter-patter of rain could be heard in the dimly lit office of Herbert Henry Oxidane, P.I., CWT. He was thinking hard, about where he should have lunch. The water detective had already cracked 3 cases that morning. All 3 had been solved over his black rotary phone by logically asking questions and throwing in a dose of wit. Detective H2O needed to get out and stretch his legs, though. Weather like this was meant to be enjoyed. As he reached for his umbrella, his phone rang once, twice, 3 times. He answered. Detective H2O here, the best water treater this side of the Ohio, solving water problems drop by drop. What you got?
Oh, good. I was hoping I would catch you, Detective H2O. We've got a problem. A big problem.
Well, it just happens that problems, big problems, are my specialty. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Where are my manners? I got all swept up in the moment. My name is Sally Wallace, from down at Haddock's Parts R Us Processing. Our wastewater plant has gone all out of whack. Our floc won't floc. Our discharge water is not meeting specs. The plant manager is going to murder me if we can't fix this.
I see. I didn't have preventing a murder on my bingo card today, but I'll take it. I remember when that plant was built. I once did a walkthrough when you guys were looking for an industrial water treatment company. Nice facility. How about I carefully hop into my old Ford, grab a quick bite at Gertie's Drive and Dine on my way, and I won't even charge you for any pushing if my old wreck requests it.
That sounds perfect, Detective. Thank you for making time for us on such a spur-of-the-moment notice.
Detective H2O shook off the rain from his umbrella and coat as he walked into the wastewater plant's main door. Alerted by the front guard, Sally was already making her way to him.
Hello, Detective. I'm glad you're here. Right on schedule. You can set up in our lab area. Everything you need should be right there. We can help grab any samples required.
I appreciate that. I'd like to start by seeing this unflockable floc you mentioned, and then walk the plant. Let's start at the end of the pipe and work our way up on this one. Turning on her heels, Sally did her show and tell of all that was happening and how her plant operated. Detective H2O took diligent notes, asked poignant questions, and even sketched diagrams. At the end of the tour, the water detective asked, "So why am I here instead of your current industrial water treatment company?" Sally looked at the floor while saying,
Because, there is no current water treatment company. Once things started running smoothly here, we didn't renew their contract when it expired a month ago. We sourced our own materials and kept going. Our process isn't that complicated, as you can see. Our approach and chemistries are simple and not proprietary. We thought we could handle whatever came our way.
I see. I can admire the spirit. Too bad your unflappable gumption came up against the unflockable, said the detective with a wry smirk.
Oh, that's almost poetic.
Just wait until you hear my haikus. From what I've seen so far, you do have a well-designed, well-run system here, but something is still off. Let's do some jar testing next. I'll need some water from before your coagulant feed, please.
I'll get my crew to get you a fresh sample quick as 2 shakes of a haddock's tail.
I'm charging by the hour, so take all the time you need, came the experienced reply of the water detective. Sally walked up to the detective as he was leaning forward looking at the jars of his gangster. She had known him only by reputation when she called him this morning, but he was living up to all the hype so far. Thoughtful, observant, and not afraid to get his hands a little dirty were all good qualifications in her book.
So, Detective, has the culprit revealed itself yet?
Yes, I believe so. The proof will be in the pudding, but the evidence all fingers one perpetrator.
Oh, I do love a good haggis pudding. And what would the culprit be?
You're feeding too much coagulant.
What?
Asked Sally incredulously.
That's a thing? You can feed too much?
Actually, yes. It is a thing, and one can. It happens frequently enough.
How's that a problem? If a little's good, why isn't more just better?
Detective H2O stood up straight, faced Sally, and replied, "It goes like this. Those suspended solids in your wastewater that you want to settle out all have negative charges on them. You've heard the saying that opposites attract, right?
Yes.
Well, opposites of that is likes repel. All those little suspended solids having negative charges repel each other and keep it all in suspension. They won't settle out. A coagulant is added to neutralize those negative charges so the solids can start to come together and settle out, often with the help of a flocculant.
I'm following you.
Coagulants typically have a positive charge to neutralize the negative ones. If you overfeed the coagulants, you end up having the same problem you started with. All the suspended solids end up with the same charge and repel each other. This time, it's a positive charge. You have destabilized the floc formation and ended up where you began.
Oh, I see.
Has plant production changed significantly lately?
Actually, it has. We just had one of our peak demand runs, and production has dropped to about half.
And by my calculations, you just happen to be feeding about twice as much coagulant as you need as well. We found our culprit and motive.
So, if we turn down the coagulant feed, all should return to normal?
I believe so. Let's go do it now. It will take some time to see the effect due to the residence time in your system.
On it. I'll beat you there.
Came the trailing reply as Sally rushed to the chemical feed system. A week later, the water detective's black mid-20th century desk phone rang once, twice, 3 times. He answered with his signature. Detective H2O here, the best water treater this side of the Ohio, solving water problems drop by drop. What you got?
Hello, Detective. It's Sally from Haddock Parts Are Us Processing. I just wanted to let you know that things are still running smoothly after your visit last week. Our floc is flocculating, the discharge is meeting specs, and the plant manager is no longer on a murderous rampage. Thank you again.
You're quite welcome, Sally. I always like it when a plan comes together.
I would like to talk to you about coming in on a regular basis to keep us on the straight and narrow, if you don't mind. Going it alone was trickier than we thought.
It often is in the turbulent world of industrial water treatment. It often is. In the underbelly and penthouses of the metropolis of Waterville, where the boilers percolate and cooling towers fog, there is one man who works tirelessly to end corrosion, stop scale, fight low-life microbes, and conserve water. That man is Detective H2O, best water treater this side of the Ohio, solving water problems drop by drop.
Scaling Up Nation, if you know that voice, you know that voice. Go ahead and play along with our social media. Go on LinkedIn. Of course, we are going to reveal all of our guest voices on tomorrow's episode. Folks, tomorrow is our very last day of Industrial Water Week. You are not going to want to miss tomorrow's episode. We're going to send you off of closing Industrial Water Week in style. We are going to reveal every single guest voice that we have debuted this week, even the one that we are debuting tomorrow that you have not heard yet. And I cannot wait to bring that episode to you. But before we do that, we still have plenty of Wastewater Thursday to celebrate. And in order for us to celebrate properly, you need to go to your favorite piece of wastewater equipment, take a picture of your smiling face in front of that, and hashtag that to IWW25 and hashtag Scaling Up H2O. I also want you to remember water's industrial journey from foundations to futures. Think about all of the ways that we use water in our job, how we make water at our best every day at our job. And I want you to think about your journey, how you laid the foundation in the beginning and how you build on that each and every day and where you are going into the future. Happy Industrial Water Week, folks. Lift others as you rise. At the Rising Tide Mastermind, we say a rising tide raises all boats. We believe in the power of helping others to achieve their goals. By supporting your peers, you also grow. Join a group where mutual success is the ultimate goal. To find out more, go to scalinguph2o.com/mastermind. Once again, that's scalinguph2o.com/mastermind.